Thank you for joining us on this edition of our podcast, The Conversation of Media Temple Global. And we have a guest. We'll be looking at politics today and politics in Plateau State. He is a seasoned politician and he's done so many things before. He had worked as in the media industry. He's also part of us who have had experience with the Plateau Publishing Company, also experiences in the private sector. He got to the House of Assembly between 2007 and 2015, rising to become a speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly. And today, he at a point, I stand to be corrected, he attempted or hinted at the number one seat in the state, being the governor of Plateau State. And today he is special advisor political to the governor of Plateau State. Join me to welcome Right Honorable Stephanus Mansad. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Yakubu Tadi, and for the next 30 minutes or thereabout, we shall be talking about so many things. And recently, he's a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party. And let me say, since he joined PDP, he has remained in PDP. You know how it is with politics in Nigeria. They are here today, they are there tomorrow, but he is a faithful and loyal party member. Let me first say congratulations for your Congress.
Thank you, Yakubu.
Well, the people were wondering whether it will hold or it will not hold because of the rumblings within the House. How did it go?
Yeah, well, before I proceed, let me just for the records, I never gave a shot to the number one seat of the state. Rather, I went in for the senatorial seat in the central zone of Plateau State.
Right.
Well, our congresses went on smoothly. Initially, it was for 27th of September, but for obvious and very strategic reasons, it had to be shifted to last week, Saturday. And then, of course, we're happy because it was seamless, it was rancor-free, it was like a family meeting, because, as it were, the PDP has always been known for doing their things smoothly, based on understanding and cooperation of the people, particularly so that we have a leader of the party in the state, and therefore it is incumbent upon every member of the party to give the cooperation that the leader will need so that we have a leadership that will pilot the affairs of this party in the state for the next 4 years, and then to reenact in a better way what the former leadership of the party did in 2015.
Well, when politicians say smoothly, you know, the public will always take it with a pinch of salt. How smooth was it? Because we understand also that people had indicated interest to contest certain positions. They were not the ones who eventually emerged. And also, some chieftains of your party were conspicuously not present during this Congress.
Well, you know, as in every normal human endeavor, interests are supposed to, you're supposed to have diverse interests, which of course is the normal thing in politics. When the interests align and there are no divergent interests, then you know something is wrong. But as it were, because this is a good thing, everybody wants to be given the opportunity to serve the state by reason of holding leadership position in the party. People are bound to indicate interests, as it were. But of course, there's also the boardroom politics that goes on, to have understanding of those that have indicated interests. And that's why everybody that indicated interest hitherto before the Congress, you see him at the Congress venue. Because the days preceding the Congress, a lot of discussions went on, one. Secondly, positions are allocated to senatorial zones. So each zone will go back to its senatorial caucus meeting, meet with stakeholders of the party at the zonal level to further microzone the positions to local governments. So that's why it explains why those that had indicated, a lot of people that indicated interest at the end of the day, you found out just a few people emerging. Because at the local government levels, people had consensus. Those that were allocated the position of the chairman, like in Shandam, Shendam at the end of the day arrived at Raymond Dabo. In my local government, Panshin local government to be precise, the position of the state legal advisor was microzone to Panshin. The stakeholders of Panshin sat and agreed that we should present an individual, and that was it. And then we came up with a very formidable team by way of consensus, largely. Now, when you talk about some stakeholders not being present at the Congress, I will be compelled to ask, who are such stakeholders that were not there? To the best of my knowledge, almost everybody was there. Of course, one or two people may not be there for one reason or the other. Some may be indisposed, some may be out of town for one reason or the other. And therefore,
but even you mentioned, His Excellency Ambassador Fidelis Tapo was not there. Kwali was not there. Bagos was not there. And this number of, among some of those that we can just mention.
Well, for Honorable Bagos, before now, Bagos has been out of the country on official engagement. The leader of the party is fully aware of his being out of the country. That explains the absence of Bagos. For Ambassador Tabgun, I can't say for sure why he was not there. That can best be explained by him. And of course, if you'll notice, even before the state congress, most of the party activities that had gone on in the state, you would have noticed that Ambassador Tabgun had been conspicuously absent. And don't forget, Ambassador Tabgun was the immediate past BOT member of the party from Plateau State, as it were. He was just recently replaced by Professor Lombin. So why Ambassador Tabgun was not there, I'm not in a position to say why. Could be personal reasons, could be one reason or the other.
But he's still a member of the party.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, he has not indicated interest to resign his membership of the party because there's no record anywhere, either from his ward or the local government or the state, to suggest that he's resigned his membership of the party. You can be a member of the party, but a passive member at that, for whatever reason. That is personal. For Kwalu, like any other party member, yes. Of course, Kwalu was not there. And then, of course, I cannot also say why Kwalu was not there, but we had expected him to be there. So it could be that he was out of town or for one reason or the other.
Okay, let's not dwell much on this. Being advisor political to the governor places a lot of responsibility on your shoulders in the build up to elections and see how the political atmosphere is within the state. We've had recent, some have called it a hemorrhage from the PDP to the APC. Is there a Nantawe effect having been made the national chairman of the APC? People seem to be navigating towards that direction. Or what is it that is happening within the party?
Well, you talked about the Nantawe effect. I may say yes and no. Yes, for people who believe that Nantawe holds the aids and therefore what is primary to them is what they make out of the system. Basically because they have a feeling that with a Nantawe national chairman, they stand to benefit as individuals, as it were, really. And therefore, they tend to move to where they believe the food is ready. There are others who, for other reasons, would have left the party, not necessarily because of the Nantawe effect. But I'm very confident that, yes, as a political party, and of course as a political advisor to the governor, there's no sensible, reasonable politician that will tell you when you lose one person, one member of your party, and you say, well, you discountenance it as if it's nothing. No. For me, and of course for the party, it's a thing of concern that some people are walking away for whatever reasons that is only known to them. You had the governor spoke during when he had dinner with the outgoing and then the incoming leadership of the party 2 days ago. When he had cause to make reference to those that left, he said, there's no one that left the party that can look him in the eye and say, he, as the governor, is the reason why they are leaving the party. Because I can tell you for free that most of the notable individuals that have left the party, there's not a single one of them that before leaving that I have not personally engaged with in discussing and finding out what the issues were. And of course, we have advanced our reasons as to why their thinking is not very correct. But you see, there's this saying that you can take a donkey to the river, but you can't force it to drink water. So anybody that his mind is already made up, whatever engagement you have with him, he will still go ahead and do what he wants to do. Yes, we've lost some, but I can also assure you that in the course of our own engagements, the quality of people we are also getting returning into the PDP is amazing. And because we are not noise makers, and for strategic reasons, it's not in our place to begin to say we have engaged with Mr. A, Mr. B, or Mr. C, or Mr. A is coming on board with us. No, we want to be strategic in terms of our timing. We want to be strategic in terms of when we let out relevant information that are useful to us politically. We are not making noise about it, but I can assure you that we have gained so much. And even those that have left, I can also assure you that in the course of time, you'll see some of them trolling back into the PDP.
And what gives you that confidence?
Of course, because we are repositioning the party, and of course, again, a lot of people, like you asked earlier, a lot of people never gave us a chance that we're going to have a seamless, smooth Congress in the state, considering the number of people and the individuals that had indicated interest to contesting these party positions. We're now having gone through with it, and of course, the quality of people we have produced as leaders of the party. Some people cannot but return to the party. The person of Chief Raymond Dabo, his friendship is very, very infectious. He is a personality that relates across board. He doesn't care what political party you belong to. He's a friend to a lot of people. His pedigree is top-notch. And I can assure you, even for the person of the chairman we have elected thus far, I can assure you a lot of people will want to return to the party to also add value to what we're doing. If you had Baba Sango, DT Sango spoke on the day of the dinner, it was significant. It was instructive. It tells you that the emergence of the new leadership of the party is a new dawn for the party on the plateau. And you will be surprised as to the achievements we'll get within the coming days.
Well, we're looking at the party and the success of the Congress and looking at rebuilding the party, though we engage the party at that level. But as advisor, looking at what has happened, the party won election in 2023, and now with the situation, lost House of Assembly members, with only the governor, a surviving member. How have you been navigating to ensure governance moves on seamlessly with the other parties that are involved in governance?
Thank you. That can also be linked to this movement out of the party, because this is a new development. It is novel. It has never happened anywhere in the history of this country, where you find only the governor sitting on the seat from a different party from all the legislators from the state and up to the national level. The PDP won massively in 2023. We had 16 members of the State Assembly. We had 5 members of the House of Representatives. We have 2 senators out of 3. And therefore, we're comfortable. But of course, for reasons of court cases, tribunal cases, we were deprived of all those legislative positions, which of course the Supreme Court ultimately described as a travesty of justice. Now we're not resting on our oars. We believe that we will reenact that feat better by 2027. Now, a lot of people who were not patient enough had expected that it would be business as usual because one, you expect the governor to patronize you, you expect the governor to do one thing or the other for you or for your community, and it is not coming at the time you had wanted it for reason attributed to this challenge we have and this hybrid form of governance we have on the state. And therefore, things are moving on slowly because whatever responsibilities that the members of the State Assembly, National Assembly were supposed to carry have all now been transferred on one single individual. Now that's the governor. Therefore, our position is, the mantra is Plateau first. And I'm very happy with the conduct of members of the State Assembly. 100% of members of the State Assembly are not PDP members. We have 22 of them of the APC stock, one Labour Party, one YPP, not a single PDP, the party of the executive governor. Now, our position to them is, look, this is not politics, this is governance. And the common denominator is Plateau State. And therefore, the interest number one should be Plateau. Put Plateau first before any political consideration. And I'm happy because they have understood the mindset and the vision of the governor. And they are tagging along with him, joining force with him, cooperating with him to deliver to Plateau people what they had elected the governor to do for them. So, I must, at this juncture, take advantage of this platform to also appreciate members of the State Assembly, though not members of the PDP, but they believe that they are members of Plateau family. And that's why they're aligning and cooperating with the governor to ensure that he has a smooth ride when providing leadership in the state.
This is quite interesting because that kind of leadership is difficult to find anywhere, given the Nigerian political atmosphere.
It takes a mood farm to provide such leadership.
Well, that's credit to him in the coming days and in the elections. Will that also feeling be reflected in the elections because they will also be campaigning for their party?
Very well.
Yes,
Very
that's
well.
an aside. But looking at the administration as political advisor, you have a policy from the advising on policy and impact. Governance, how has it fared in terms of policy that affects the generality of the people, the social security welfare of Plateau people?
You see, Governor Mutfwang is bringing a new concept to leadership as far as the state is concerned. And that's why it will be a little bit hard for people to appreciate within a short while. We're 2 years and some months in government. Basically, the focus of Governor Mutfwang, first and foremost, is to build systems. Building systems, ensuring that things are put in proper perspective. We are so used to tangible, visible, bogus government projects that at the end of the day do not really amount to anything other than the optics. When you leave, they say, oh, he built that heavy structure. Now, when you put the question, what is the value of these structures to the state? What value is it adding? What economic value is it adding? What social value is it adding? And then, of course, you find out that at the end of the day, just humongous amount of state resources have been used to build structures that are not needed. So what we're doing now is on a need, we do need assessment, and then, of course, you reach the people. Because whatever government does, at the end of the day, the people will say, wow, this is the exact thing that we need. And that's why when you see what's happening within the health sector in this state, I can assure you today, the Plateau Specialist Hospital, the laboratory in the Plateau Specialist Hospital today, with the investment of Governor Mutfwang's government in Plateau Hospital, in the north central Nigeria, there's no lab, there's no hospital that has the government hospital that has the kind of facilities in the laboratory like the Plateau Specialist Hospital. You can see when the governor came in, a lot of courses were having issues of accreditation in Plateau Polytechnic, Plateau, Gindri. Now, so much money were pumped in to ensure that we secured those courses and they got full accreditation. Look at what's happening in Gindri today. Today, Gindri is a degree awarding institution. It's an improvement in the education sector because one, the schools, the turnover rate of students that graduate from secondary schools and wanting to go into tertiary institutions, you find out that a lot of our students eventually, the first year they graduate from secondary schools, hardly get admitted because of limited spaces. Now, the spaces have been opened, and then students are going up. You can see the collaboration, the MOU between the state government and the Liberty University in the United States, where the first batch of students have been sent for studies, postgraduate studies in the United States of America. Now, these are things that you cannot see visibly. Of late, just last week, we have our students that graduated from this aviation college in Zaria, about 10, 15 pilots and a few engineers. Now, they need certification. They had graduated, some of them graduated about 5, 6, 7 years ago, but they cannot proceed because they do not have the certification. For each pilot, the cost for certification is $20,500 for one pilot. Now, that's so much money. How many of our students can afford that? 90% of these pilot graduates were sponsored by Plateau State government under Governor Babajan, Governor Jan. That was a PDP government. That was a government with a foresight. Now, 8 years down the line, nothing was done with it, about them. Now, this government is coming and stepping in to ensure that they offer scholarships to these students to go to South Africa for this certification. I tell you, one pilot is $20,500. So when you multiply that by 15, you know what it translates into in Naira terms. For the engineers, each engineer is $5,000. You have about 7 or 8 of them going to South Africa for this. All these are developments within subsectors of the economy that people do not really see or feel.
Well, if people don't see, those in authority need to tell people that this is what.
Yeah, this is part of the platform that we're using to tell people. And again, sir, let me tell you.
We'll take a break and then come back to the conversation.
Okay.
If you're just joining us, this is the conversation podcast of Media Temple Global. Our guest is Right Honorable Estefanus Mansat, Special Advisor to the Governor on Political Matters. And he's been telling us about the success of the PDP convention and how the governor is been able to work with other parties across board for the interest of Plateau States. We shall be right back after this time. Welcome back. You're on to the conversation, the Media Temple podcast. Our guest is Right Honorable Estefanus Mansat, former Speaker, Plateau State House of Assembly, and Special Advisor to Plateau State Governor on Political Matters. And we left off at the point you were talking about the human capital development, the areas of the things they were doing. I had asked about what government is actually doing. Now, in all of this, how involved are the people? How inclusive are decisions being made so that people are carried along? People don't complain that, yes, they could be doing something, but we are not aware, or it is something that we don't want that government is doing.
Like I told you earlier, 70-80% of what government is doing is on need-based and need-based, because we do a need assessment before government gets into doing what it is doing. One. Secondly, our democracy here, like any other democracy, is a representative democracy. When you have people in the legislature and you also have people in the executive, they represent the various interests of the people or the communities where they come from. It is expected that what translates into government actions are a reflection of what is generated from our various communities in terms of their needs. It is not possible. It is practically impossible to gather Plateau people in one hole and ask them, okay, we want to do this. What is your opinion? The opinions will be as many as the number of people that will be in that hole. And then if you attempt to do that, at the end of the day, you'll do nothing. The responsibility of a leader is to take them to where they ought to be, not necessarily where they want to be, because when you have 10 people in a room, they will be wanting to go to 10 different directions. And as a leader, you cannot go to 10 different directions at the same time. So you will now have to bring in your leadership knowledge to give direction, to provide leadership, and say, okay, yeah, I understand with you and I appreciate the fact that all of you want to go in different directions, but as the leader, I feel very strongly that this is the direction. And because you are the leader and not a self-appointed leader, you are a product of the consensus of the people in the room. They should trust your judgment. After getting inputs from you, they must trust your judgment as the leader to give leaders, to provide leadership. So in terms of carrying people along, I can assure you that the people have been indirectly carried along because government does what those that represent the various communities would have presented before government. We also have members of the State Assembly who approves budget. The budget is presented before them. They ensure that there's an equitable spread of developments across the state. Those legislators represent their communities. They represent their people. And therefore, the legislators speak for their people. So, invariably, you'll agree with me that by so doing, the people are carried along. Because if, as a legislator, I sit in the chambers and I'm legislating over a state budget that includes projects and then human capital development, it has to be provided for in the budget. So if I go through the budget and I find out that this needs to be done, it is incumbent upon me to draw the attention of the relevant MDAs to say, okay, you need this needed to be there, like that. The people have been represented.
Well,
people have been carried
We talk
along.
much about this delivery of dividends of democracy, as the politicians would call it, and that is natural. If one is elected, you're expected to perform. But there's a hue and cry from particularly the opposition about, yes, there's an increase in federal allocation to states and IGR. And they're saying, what has Plateau done with the huge resources, over 100 billion naira that has come to the state from January to this time? Is that rabble-rousing by the opposition, or is it a reality that, yes, monies have come in, but they cannot actually be explained?
It is not their job to make life easy for us. So they can choose to be blind to what is happening. I had an engagement with one of them. I went to visit him in his house. And when he came out to see me off, he walked me to the car. And then I asked him, I said, while we were discussing inside, you said you've not seen anything that this government has done. He said, yeah. Right in front of his house where I parked my car was a newly constructed road by this government. And we were standing on that road for me to enter my car.
So he has easy access to his house.
He has easy access. And I said, wow, I'm surprised. Even if for nothing, the number one thing is you will appreciate the fact that this road is something, but government needs to do more. But you are completely telling me you have seen nothing. Then your submission to me does not add up. Because first and foremost, if you want me to believe you that your submission is from a genuine heart, then you will appreciate the fact that hitherto, before I get to my house, every month I need to change the shocks of my car, or I need to check the bushings because of the nature of the road to my house. But now I drive smoothly, no mud, no dust, no pothole, smooth road, fine environment. Appreciate that. Then you say, no, but the government would have done more. Then
So that
you
is something.
then for me, you qualify for an engagement, you qualify for a discussion. But when you deny a very conspicuous fact, then I don't think I have anything to discuss with you. One. Secondly, 70% of road projects that this government is doing today across the state, 70%, not less than 70%, were roads initiated and started by the last PDP government of Governor David Jonathan. When the APC came in 2015, all those roads stopped, all those projects stopped. It will amaze you to know that a project that was awarded for 2 billion naira, now for you to continue on that road, you will be needing more than 10 billion naira to complete that road. A project of 2 billion. Today, you will be needing 10 billion. Inflation. Now, the question is, if within the past 8 years, if a road that was awarded for 2 billion naira was at, let's assume, at 30-40% completion, and you had gone ahead to complete those projects, I can assure you, you would have completed those projects, even with the inflation as at then, you would have completed those projects for maybe 3-4 billion naira. But 8 years down the line, you are needing about 700% increase. Now they are calculating what is coming into to the state on the basis of the last exchange rate 10 years ago, which is practically impossible. When Buhari came into government, the exchange rate, the naira to the dollar, was less than 500 naira. It was between 400,
yes, 450.
450. Today, the exchange rate, for a very long time, we will say the naira has stabilized. It has stabilized at 1,540 naira. So, what are we saying? Is likening it to the 70,000 naira minimum wage you are talking about today. What 18,000 naira could afford in 2013, 2014, 70,000 naira cannot buy half of what 18,000 could buy. A bag of cement was going for less than 1,000 naira. Less than 1,000 naira. A bag of cement was going for between 500 to 600 naira.
Okay, sir.
Today, a bag of cement is 10,500 naira.
Okay, let's get back to the subnationals, the local governments. There was a shift to much younger people. The jury is out there. I've had debates across the media, social media, and different radio stations at this time about performance. What is your assessment? Because some people, it's a divided issue. That some people are saying, no, they have not lived up to expectation. Yet the local government chairmen are thumping their chest and said, we have done well, given the quantum of resources that has also been available to them.
Well, I can assure you, when you speak about Plateau State and of course the local governments, when you go to some local governments, it will amaze you to see what they have done. Because
I remember you went on tour.
I went on tour.
Yes.
I went on tour. I toured the 17 local governments and then have a fair idea of what they're doing. But I can assure you that a few of them, when you see what they have achieved as local government, you can only compare it with what some state governments are doing in some states. But of course, you also find a few of them that will need to do more, that will need to put in more effort. There has been a lot of hue and cry from the people in the local government councils as to the need for their chairman to step up their game. Yeah, so like you said, it's neither here nor there. Those that are doing well are doing extremely well. Those that are not doing well are doing extremely not well. I can be that blunt with you because they are members of our party. If they do well, it impacts positively on the people, and of course, it presents the party in good light. So they are our ambassadors at the local government, but I can assure you, as far as the resources that is made available to them is concerned, 60%, I can score them 60%. It's a fair deal. It tells you that there's still room for improvement. For those who are not doing well, by the time they go back to face the people will give them the results. But of course, to us as a government, and because they represent our party and our government at the local government level, we have a responsibility to challenge them, to charge them, to live up to the expectations of the people, in the interest of our people, our state, and of course our party. But basically, my assessment of them is comparatively, when you see what happens in other states, you will say Plateau State is doing well. But of course, our standard is not these small states around us. Our standard should be states like Lagos, Port Harcourt, so on and so forth.
So they have huge money.
Yeah, very well. They have huge money, we have huge ideas, and therefore we have to deploy our ideas and ensure that even with small resources or little resources, we're able to achieve more.
Well, sir, 2027, there have been so much talks about, yes, His Excellency has come out to the Governor Mufra has come out personally to say, no, severally he's not leaving the PDP. And then we've had a situation that the APC in Plateau State have also said they will not accept him if he comes in. Is it that the governor, he has also said they have been pressurizing him to move into the party. Is it that the governor is a beautiful bride, or is it out of mischief that they will not accept him going into the party?
Well, I'm lost because I'm still trying to find the basis for such a statement. Because people only turn down what is before them. If I make a request that I need this or I want to do this, then you turn it down. No, you can't have it. Or I'll make an overture that, okay, I want to come to your house. Then you say, no, you are not welcome to my house. I've not told you I'm coming to your house. I have not put a request before you. And you are saying no. It's abnormal. It tells you that it tells you the level of desperation of some people. The governor has said he's been under pressure. It's been on news when certain groups came out openly to ask APC groups to ask the governor to join the APC. I have seen this on social media, I've seen it on print media, I've seen it within the media space. Certain APC groups have canvassed very strongly on the need for Mutfwang to join the APC. Even if it stops at that, it qualifies for a pressure on the governor to move into the APC. And he has said it. He is not going. People must understand that every politics is local. Every politics is local. Mutfwang understands very well the mindset and the ideology of the Plateau man. And the ideology of the Plateau man conforms with what the PDP stands for. And that's why he believes that what the Plateau people know is PDP. And because he's a Plateau man, he will stand with Plateau people. When you go to play the national politics, it's a different ball game altogether. That's a different ball game. Now it has its own marking scheme. So when you come to the state, it has a different marking scheme. So for us on the Plateau, this is not the first time we're doing it. Babalar, when he was governor in the NPP, the government at the center was NPN. Very ruthless government as at then. But because of the passing of Babala, he deployed his knowledge and experience and patriotism to do what he was able to do for Plateau people. What about now? So Plateau State remains in the PDP, and we will work towards ensuring that once again we trash the APC on the Plateau. We'll go to contest with them 100 times, we'll deal with them 100 times.
Well, let's go to the national. You mentioned national. Your party will be having its convention in Ibadan, to be or not to be. What would Plateau be going with? And in case, if the convention does not hold, it means that there's a problem for all the states in the PDP. What is Plateau going for? Are you hopeful that, yes, like it's always said, it's a family affair? Are you hopeful that you're going to come out with something, a position for Plateau State at that convention?
A very serious position. A very, very serious position. A position aside of the national chairmanship position that Babala held. The position Plateau will be coming back home with is going to be the next most strategic position in the party. I can assure you that. I won't let the cat out of the bag so that people will leave people in suspense and their interest will continue to grow to find out what's coming back to Plateau. So I want people to be on the watch out for what Plateau is coming back with from the PDP National Convention.
So as political advisor, I've been hearing these talks that states will support Asiwaju at the top and then do their party at their state level. And is that to see the party is not even interested in having a presidential candidate? What is the thought of Plateau going into the 2027 elections?
Yeah, those things that are saying they will do Asiwaju, they know why they are saying so. For us, there's nowhere that we can be quoted as saying we will do Asiwaju and then do PDP here. We believe in the PDP and will continue to stand on that. Our leader has not officially informed us that we will do Asiwaju. Now, we will also have our own presidential candidate as a party, and we'll cross the bridge when we get there.
That's a fine place to leave it, crossing the bridge. We'll be waiting to see how you cross the bridge. And in the coming days, that should be known to all of us. I want to thank you very much, Right Honorable Stephanus Mansat, Special Advisor to Plateau State Governor on Political Matters. I'm yours sincerely, Yakubu Tadi. We shall be back here with another guest on our podcast, The Conversation. Thank you for watching. You can send your comments through our number or our email, which will be on the screen.